Well, look at this. It looks like Florida Governor Ron DeSantis should be very afraid of exposure. Excuse the phrasing. Welcome to Occupy Democrats. I'm David Reddish. We're hoping that the name Ron DeSantis still conjures up some familiar images to all of you, dear viewers. And hopefully those images do not inspire you to gag, weep, or cringe. And fair warning, you may do any or all of the above by the time you finish this report. DeSantis, of course, emerged as a potential GOP presidential candidate in the early 2000s, in part because of his pretending the COVID-19 pandemic did not exist. Remember this little tantrum?
Now today I'm going to let the legislatures come up, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to sign the bill. It's effective July 1st. I'll also sign an executive order pursuant to that bill, invalidating all remaining local emergency COVID orders effective on July 1st. But then to bridge the gap between then and now, I'm going to suspend, under my executive power, the local emergency orders as it relates to COVID. I think that's the evidence-based thing to do. I think the fact...
Look, nobody liked the COVID lockdowns, but for DeSantis to do that in a state with a massive retiree and tourist population was wildly irresponsible. And for the record, COVID cases exploded thereafter. But we don't need to relitigate all that right now. The greater point here is that DeSantis used his cavalier COVID behavior to launch his presidential campaign. His key issue? Wokeness, a modern term for compassion and empathy. In DeSantis' view, those are bad things.
We have embraced freedom. We have maintained law and order. We have protected the rights of parents. We have respected our taxpayers, and we reject woke ideology. We fight the woke in the legislature. We fight the woke in the schools. We fight the woke in the corporations. We will never, ever surrender to the woke mob. Florida is where woke goes to die.
You know what always drove me nuts about DeSantis' hatred of wokeness? He could never explain what he even meant by that. What, feeling for the plight of others? That's bad? Avoiding COVID is bad? Working for the justice of all Americans is bad? What did he even mean with all that? No wonder his presidential campaign flamed out so quickly. Well, that, and he had to wear heels to hide his diminutive height, performed embarrassingly in debates, couldn't seem to connect with voters in Iowa, and ate pudding with his fingers. So presidential. And this is where this new breaking story begins. The political strategist and campaign spokesperson behind DeSantis' anti-wokeness disregarding of COVID precautions is a man named Fred Piccolo. He served as DeSantis' spokesperson in 2020, and officials both inside and outside the campaign have named him as a major architect in DeSantis' presidential ambitions. He also had a nasty habit of posting false or misleading information related to COVID-19. He eventually got himself fired after posting an insensitive tweet about COVID, implying that not that many people had died of the disease, and that those that did, it wasn't that big a deal. Fred Piccolo also has some other nasty habits, one of which just earned him a news flash of a different kind. The Tampa Bay Times now reports that last night, Manatee County Sheriff's deputies arrested Piccolo on exposure charges, a sex crime. It's considered a Class 3 felony under Florida law. Piccolo was also fired from his job as the Director of Marketing and Media for the New College of Florida. Now, details of the actual incident remain scant at the time of this report, but here's the more shocking bit. Piccolo is already the subject of 3 other cases of this kind of exposure. Last August, he exposed himself to an employee of a Banana Republic at a mall in Sarasota. He was apparently, how do we say this without getting flagged, palming his manhood at the time? Just a few days later, he did the same thing at the same mall at a Dillard's. And he did the same thing in Dillard's the following day. Suddenly, all those signs outside malls banning solicitation make so much more sense, don't they? There's an old saying that you can judge a man by the company he keeps. So what does all this say about Ron DeSantis? And what does it say about the New College of Florida that only now they've canned Fred Piccolo, even though he had 3 prior arrests for these crimes? Such interesting priorities they have in Florida, don't they? That much is clear. At the time of this report, it's not clear if Ron DeSantis will be lending Mr. Piccolo a hand. Apparently, he really needs one. You know, they say no publicity is bad publicity where celebrity and politics are concerned, but this is probably not the kind of exposure Ron DeSantis wanted right now. This is Occupy Democrats.